And I am live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another in depth spoiler review for What If, episode 8. We got this episode and episode 9, and that is it for season 1 of What If. If you guys are new to the channel and if you love the MCU and What If, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel out a lot, and I have been talking about the show every single week. And today we're talking about episode 8, the penultimate episode of What If. This episode is titled What If Ultron Won? So we saw the tease at the end of the previous episode of Ultron, but Vision was Ultron. And so this episode is What If Ultron Won in Avengers Age of Ultron? And so that's what this episode is. We'll talk about my thoughts overall on this episode, the whole series so far, and what I think could happen in the next episode. So, yeah, the title is pretty much what it is. What if Ultron won? And his plan came through in Avengers Age of Ultron, how Tony Stark created Ultron for peace, the peacekeeping initiative that he was created for. And Ultron's plan was fully formed, use vision to really make his body what it was. And so he's just this unstoppable force now. And I just love this episode all around. I think this definitely brought things back to where I wanted for What If, because the two previous episodes were kind of filler episodes. They weren't really that great, but this episode was fantastic. It's definitely one of the best episodes of this show so far. So just a lot of great creative ideas they brought to this episode. So the two human characters that are the forefront are Nat and Clint. The opening action sequence against the Ultron bots in this post-apocalyptic Ultron world is really cool. They're using their abilities, and Nat and Clint, we know they work very well together. We see Clint be the huge star of this episode with Jeremy Renner's voice, and we see him kind of lose his arm in this battle with this Ultron bot, and so Clint pretty much doesn't want to fight anymore, and so that's his message throughout this episode. And Nat is trying to help Clint get back up and be himself. And so Nat and Clint, they have to try to find anything possible to try to stop Ultron, because he has pretty much taken over the entire world. The Ultron bots we saw in this episode, they wipe out different planets like Xandar, Ego the Living Planet, I saw they went to. The Sovereign, we saw that Guardians Volume 2 throwback. So Ultron bots are wiping out each planet, and Ultron has won pretty much. And we see Vision in that Ultron form. Now, I would have loved to see James Spader reprise his role of Ultron as the voice, but I thought this actor did a great job as the voice all around. But this was probably the most satisfying scene, this next scene right here. So we see Ultron meet with Thanos. Thanos comes out of the yeah, that's pretty much what. No, wait. Before I talk about the Thanos part, I thought this was a cool scene after that. So after Ultron is fighting or taking over the world, he has a little exchange with Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel's like, I've seen the Terminator movies before, and I'm pretty much going to stop you from doing what you're going to do. So Ultron fights a little bit with Captain Marvel. She shows up, is like, I've seen the robot movies. You're not taking over the world like you think. So cool little quick fight scene between Captain Marvel and Ultron. And Ultron's like, I've already won, and so pretty much wipes out Captain Marvel pretty easily. And then we get to the scene with Thanos, and Ultron shows his power right away. He just completely slices through Thanos. Like, Thanos comes out of the portal, Ultron and Thanos, and Ultron's like, wheat, just slices through Thanos, and Thanos dies. Like, there's a pretty dark moment right there. And I'm loving that the show's going really dark and gritty with this concept of what if. And we see, of course, Ultron Vision get the Infinity Stones, like we saw at the end of the previous episode. We already know this Ultron has the Infinity Stones on his body. And so, pretty dark moment, but awesome moment at the same time. But we go back to Nat and Clint, and we actually have a huge involvement from the Watcher. This was definitely a Watcher episode. He finally intervenes as we see Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher, and he actually has a presence in this episode. But Nat and Clint, they're looking for clues of how to stop Ultron. They're in this little library place, and they're trying to find the files to stop Ultron. And the Watcher is in the background watching them, and he's doing anything possible because Ultron senses his presence, trying to find him. And he's like, look for the Zola files, which are on the library cabin. And then Nat pulls them off, and they're able to find it. But yeah, the Watcher has a big part in this episode because Ultron does fight the Watcher in this episode right here. And so it was great to finally see the Watcher actually have a part, and we see his actual form, Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher, because he's pretty much been narrating so far. And it was cool to finally see the Watcher actually intervene like we wanted. But a cool throwback, Nat and Clint, they get the Zola files. They go to the Civil War location, the Hydra base. I thought they would go to the Winter Soldier Hydra base, but no, they go to the Civil War base. And of course, they connect to Arnim Zola. Cool throwback to Winter Soldier. Arnim Zola, they need Arnim Zola's help to try to intervene Ultron's programming because it is powerful enough, and we get to see an Ultron bot turn to a Zola bot, which was pretty cool. So they persuade Zola to help them fight Ultron. So cool little throwback to Winter Soldier there. But really, the cool throwdown of this episode was the Watcher versus Ultron. The Watcher definitely held his own against Ultron. We see him like, I finally found you. Anything is possible in this multiverse right here. So the Watcher and Ultron are fighting, and it's like anything in the multiverse is possible. And we see a little Steve Rogers video right there becoming Captain America. Another cool throwback to Captain America right there. And it was cool how they were fighting each other because they're pretty much gods fighting each other. And then we see the Watcher ultimately give his little suit reveal, and so pretty badass moment right there. But I think the highlight of this fight by far was seeing Ultron give this little pose right here. And I think we all, if you're a huge Fantastic Four fan, you know the biggest bad in the Fantastic Four is Galactus. Is this a Galactus little reference right here? Easily, this looks a lot like a Galactus reference right here. We know Galactus is a big Mad Titan villain right here, and that's a really cool epic shot. I'm like, Galactus, little callback right there. Could this definitely tease Galactus being the next big bad in the MCU? Let me know in the comments. So that was fucking great. I love that shot right there. One of the best shots of the show by far. And so we see Watcher and Ultron fight, but we go back to Nat and Clint as they're fighting off Ultron's bots. And like I mentioned, Clint doesn't want to fight anymore. He's pretty much done with this. And so we see a reverse of Avengers Endgame where Clint sacrifices himself and not Nat. And so Clint finally sacrifices himself for the good in a cool epic shot against the Ultron bots. And so Nat has the shield. She's pretty upset and down. So it was a cool reverse of Avengers Endgame. Clint sacrifices himself, not Nat. And the Watcher Ultron battle ends, but Ultron pretty much can't be defeated. Like, this dude is freaking unstoppable. He's got all the Infinity Stones. Like, I cannot be defeated. And so the episode pretty much ends in this little cliffhanger, like I predicted. And we see the Watcher in kind of disappointment. But we do see the return of a character we saw in previous episodes right here. And we see Doctor Strange return. Doctor Strange comes right into the scene, and the Watcher needs his help because Doctor Strange can reverse time and do time loops. And so, are you finally ready to break your code? Says Doctor Strange. And so the Watcher's like, I need your help. We got to do this. We got to stop Ultron, or else he'll end the world. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. Ends off in that little cliffhanger. So yeah, this was a banger episode. I mean, cool little refresher because the previous two episodes were not great, not terrible, but this episode was fantastic. I think this is one of the best episodes. I'll have to do my episode ranking at the end of the show. But overall, guys, this was great. I mean, let me know what you guys thought of the episode for sure. I thought it was fantastic all around. Like, it was intense, it was short, it was everything I wanted. Overall thoughts, I mean, it was a banger. And I think where this next episode is, it seems like it's going to be Gamora in the Thanos armor. And it's cool little ending right there. And it gets me hyped to see what happens in the season 1 finale. But guys, that was my thoughts on episode 8. What did you guys think of the episode? Let me read the chat right here. We do have some people in the chat. James Pond, No Time to Cry. What is going on? Disney Nerd, what is going on? This was probably my new favorite episode. James Bond fan, how's it going? This is the best episode of the show so far. I would have to say episode 4 would be my favorite still. Ultron dealt with Thanos rather quickly. Yes, he did. Ultron was better in this movie than in Age of Ultron, for sure. Pretty badass, for sure. This episode actually gave me vibes of Invincible, episode 2 and 3. I love this episode. It has so much nostalgia to the MCU. So all around, this is definitely one of my favorite episodes. This will probably be my second or third favorite. I'll have to do an episode ranking. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for those people in the chat. If you weren't in the chat, let me know down below in the comment section what you guys thought of the episode. Is this your favorite episode so far? Or is this something else your favorite? Let me know down below in the comments. Look forward to my episode 9 review next week, the Gamora Thanos episode. And that concludes season 1 of What If. Because remember, guys, there is a season 2 of What If. So you guys know what I do. Whenever there is a series finale for an MCU show, I do the review as well as my rating for the whole entire season. And I will give you my episode ranking to follow. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week. And look forward to more reviews coming this week. Because we have a new Netflix movie with Jake Gyllenhaal called The Guilty. That will be up very soon. And you also have The Many Saints in Newark. And, of course, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Look forward to all those reviews, guys. You seriously are all the best. All my social media links are in the description below. Have a great day, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. And let me close this off.